AnnaLynne, you tell us that what you're going through has been both an emotional and a physical roller coaster. You're reacting to your therapy emotionally, but you're also reacting to your therapy in a physical way. Is that right?
That's correct. So the very first EMDR session, I had 2 intake sessions. I literally, on my schedule, I was like, okay, I'll spend 6 weeks with my doctor, figure out what these blackout panic attacks are, and then we'll be done. Let's move on. I was like, let's go. I'm ready to just be done with all of these cycles and bad relationships and self-harming, all the things. Let's just end this now. And I gave myself a solid 6 weeks. That was very ambitious. That is not what happened. Mm-hmm. I went in fully ready to dive in. And when I went under this or into the treatment, the memories started to come back, and I just kept saying, no, this is not my story. This is not my life. And what happened as the memory was coming back, I got this, like my body started to tick. My body started to as the memory was activating, and that would become the signal that I was having a trigger point, was that my left shoulder would start to tick, and then I'd be like, okay, I got to get somewhere safe, because what would follow is what would look like a seizure. I would have memory flashback convulsions, kind of the way a war veteran thinks he's on the battlefield and grabs an invisible gun. My body replayed what happened to me. So my body would thrust about involuntarily. I would feel everything as if it was happening in real time as a 31-year-old woman, what happened to me 25 years ago as a child. So burning sensations, like all of these feelings of things tearing, like really, really awful things to feel in your body, while my body is also moving around involuntarily.
AnnaLynne, how extraordinary you are. Now, like any good psychiatrist, once you open the door, I'm going to ask you to take a step further. So you mentioned that you used BDSM as a way of coping. How did that in particular correspond with your pain?
Well, I think it actually was all to do with pain, doctor, because when I was self-harming, I could cut and feel something finally. I discovered very early on with a partner who was quite aggressive that my body responded chemically very well to that. And I wanted to explore that. And I went all the way down the rabbit hole with that. And I couldn't feel anything. It was a thrill seeking thing at a certain point to up the ante, to see how far I could take it. I always wanted to die. So if I died doing that, I used to joke that that'd be a way to go. I was so unkind to my body and to myself. So when I started to do treatment and had to do inner child work to get my little Anna to trust me, one of my alters, she didn't want anything to do with me because I had harmed her body. I had harmed the house she lived in for so long. How could I be the one that was going to help her? I was scary. I was a monster.
Well, with this type of childhood trauma, I mean, some people choose a different route, right? They want to numb the inner pain. They may turn to drugs or alcohol, other vices, right?
Correct, 100%. It sounds like in a certain way, BDSM was your drug of choice as you
took words out of my mouth.
Right?
That is exactly what this was. When I was delving into these different fetishes and types of sexuality, it was the only reprieve I had from this. This was the moment that all of the screaming, yelling, abusive, horrible, you're unworthy, no one will ever love you, you'll be alone forever, that was when that would stop, and there was silence. There was finally silence, because I was both in my body and fully gone. Sex had trained me to do both, to be here and to be in another world entirely at the same exact time. And that split became addictive. And it wasn't, I never drank or did drugs or smoked cigarettes because I had my vice. This was what it was.